Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Our special guest today is Stephanie Silva from Miami-Dade College student parents.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And just to make it clear in case people were wondering, you're actually not a student, all right? You're over the age of 29,
Yes.
all right? And so you work for Miami-Dade College.
Yes, I do.
And you work for the program, MDC, Student Parents.
Yes.
First of all, what is that program about? And then next, why did you choose to go to work there?
Yeah, good question. So MDC Student Parents is a college-wide program that supports anyone who has children under the age of 18. So it could be if you're a biological parent, if you're a step parent, guardian, sibling caregiver, grandparent, anyone who's caring for a child under the age of 18, we provide free assistance. And why I started working there? I was working for the college before, actually helping to do some national service programs through STEM, and found out about this amazing grant opportunity that just came through, and it was a first-time thing for the college that they were doing, and sounded really great. I have 2 kids of my own, and I can't imagine raising kids while being in college, so I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to come in and serve.
We had the fortunate opportunity to hear the President
Pumariega?
speak. Madeline, right? Madeline?
Yes.
She spoke at Casa Cuba, one of our events. She was one of the few speakers that there would be spontaneous applause when she would talk. And we have done, I don't know, hundreds. She moved people like I've never seen it happen. And she would say, you want to go to MIT, we can get you there. If you want to be an electrician, we can get you that certificate. Yep. You can walk out with no debt. Let us help you. Here's a pathway for you.
Yeah.
The next day I got calls mostly from young women who said, Michael, she was talking about me. I'm divorced. I have 2 kids. My mother cleaned houses. My father died when I was 6. My brothers, and I'm the only one that went to college. She was talking about me. It was all day long. She was able to inspire people and to be able to tell that story about the success of Miami-Dade College and how many people have graduated from there. And Miami-Dade's been serving the public here since probably, I don't know, 66, 67, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I remember those days, all right? So Miami-Dade College has made a name for itself throughout the country, and certainly in South America and in this hemisphere. So right now, how many students are in the particular program, the student parents?
So right now, currently, we're serving over 150 student parents, but we're currently growing to support all student parents at the college that have children.
So, and how are you going to make that move, and why are young people, going to make that step to say, I need some help?
Well, the reality is that, with inflation and post-COVID, prices are high, inflation is high, and you really need that college degree to get your foot in the door, to get that higher paying job, and to better support your families. Believe it or not, student parents are actually more motivated to go back to school than young people that don't have children, because they have that additional motivator, their children, right? They want to be able to provide a better future for them. And so we get a lot of calls from the community, from parents that say, I want to go back to school. How do I get started? And we help them with the first step of applying, to getting their transcripts in, to making sure.
You actually help them, walk them through, hold their hand through the process.
Yeah.
So just show up.
Yeah.
Right? They don't need a checkbook. Just show up.
Exactly.
And they could reach you by calling. Or can we put the phone number up there?
Yep.
And by the way, Rochelle, who's producing the show, is a graduate of Miami-Dade, a 4-year program in video stuff, right? And so we're very happy that she's here. And when she walked in, I said, you know what? I said to her, can you do this? And she said, yes. I said, okay. All right, go ahead. And she did. So the training that she got at Miami-Dade was really very extensive enough to when she could walk in and do this. I went to Miami-Dade a long time ago, and I was friends with a professor out there for 40 years.
Wow.
And then when he passed away, I was friendly with his wife. And then out of the blue, about 3 years ago, she calls me. I hadn't been in contact with him. She calls me because she needed some help at her house. And I went over. Then I called her adult son. Imagine, hey, how are you? He said, hey, Michael, what's up? I said, I'm at your mom's house. She needs your help. She goes, no, she doesn't. I said, I'm telling you, I'm sitting here. She needs your help. All right, please take care of her. And in fact, that she trusted me so much after all those years to call me, and she didn't want to bother her children, to do that, was pretty unique. And that was a relationship that was forged at Miami-Dade College.
Yeah.
And one other short story about that, I was suffering in some class, some English class, and the professor says, what's the problem? I said, I don't know. I get frustrated. She says, come to my special class. I go, it's her office, which is not any bigger than this table. What's the problem? I said, when I start, I get frustrated and I rip the paper out of the typewriter. Some people might remember that. And she said, why don't you do this, Michael? The next time that happens, why don't you just stop and pause and start again? So here I am now, 50 years later, repeating that story. And years after that, when my father said to me, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. He said, why don't you do whatever you want to do and do the best you can until you don't want to do it anymore, then go do something else. Similarly, what the professor said, which was stop, pause, and move on. Great lessons from Miami-Dade College, because there are enough professors out there that cared enough, right?
Yeah.
So we understand that young people with children, they have all the problems plus those kids. So what was it like the first student that you helped?
Oh, good question.
You remember who it was?
I do. And actually, she's still with us today. So she actually came to us because we did an email blast in the beginning when we first got a small grant from the NEAKC Foundation. And in the beginning, we were only focusing on serving parents who were between the ages of 18 to 29 years old. And we got a lot of responses. And this one was one of the first responses that came in. And she wanted to come back to school. She had actually got a scholarship to the Honors College years prior, straight out of high school, but then wasn't in the right headspace to kind of go for it. So she ended up losing the scholarship and was going through a lot of personal things at the time. So when she came to us, we said, don't worry about it. You can come back in, we'll help pay for your tuition. We'll help you pay your bills. You have a lot of things on your plate. And so she's completed her certificate in human resources. Then she ended up getting her associate's degree, and now she's going for her bachelor's. So
congratulations.
She's doing good. Yeah.
So, and it must feel pretty good, not just for you, obviously, but for them, that somebody cared enough to walk them through. Because sometimes that's all they need, is that somebody cares enough to do that. And I don't know who it is, but if she sees this, we just would ask her to go do that with somebody else.
Yeah.
And just pass it on. So what are the minimum requirements for somebody to be accepted into the program?
Just to have children and either be studying at MDC or want to come study at MDC.
That's amazing. And it's such a gem, Miami-Dade College. And I'd be amiss if I didn't say I went to the medical campus of Miami-Dade when it was not a medical campus and it was one building, right?
Yeah.
A few years ago. Miami-Dade has that reputation of come to us. It's like the Statue of Liberty here in Miami, where people go from all over the country. And I know the recent immigrants go, they say two things. One, where's Hialeah? And where's Miami-Dade College?
Yeah.
But so we know that they are welcome there, these moms and dads.
Yes.
What percentage are moms and what percentage are
Other good question. Yeah. So the national statistic goes that 1 in 5 students at colleges are parents. But then when you look at community colleges, we know that parents tend to choose community colleges because they're smaller. They have staff that are really more hands-on, right? There's a lot more opportunity there. So it actually increases to 1 in 4. So we know that, well, because we're one of the nation's largest institutions of higher education, we have over 100,000 enrolled. We have at least 25,000 student parents at our college. And so, remind me the question, because
it was what percentage of guys?
So of those 25,000, 70% are mothers, 30% tend to be fathers. So it's way less.
And if you happen to know, most of these women and men, are they divorced, or Or are they married, I guess, at this time?
So of the mothers, we know that about 67% are single mothers, right? It's a huge part of the student parent population. We have a smaller population that are co-parenting or married. And then we have, that are co-parenting or married. So the overwhelming majority tend to be single parents.
And every once in a while we hear about college, high school students that are homeless. And I was driving around the other day, I'm thinking, how could these people do that? All right. Yeah. It must be like horrendous space in your head, which is, I got to go to school, but I don't have the traditional background. Do you have any figures that if any of those people are homeless?
Well, unfortunately, right now, the definition of homelessness has expanded, right? So it's not just living on the street. It could be living in your car. It could be living in somebody's couch. It could be doubled up with a family member, right? Yep. And so, unfortunately, I'd say about 80% of our student parent population could fit the definition of homeless. And that tends to be because, right, when you have that additional mouth to feed, that additional child to take care of, you have those additional expenses. And on top of that, when you're looking at a young parent, if they're under the age of 29, they don't necessarily have that job experience to get them that higher paying job yet, right? So they're working usually minimum wage jobs. They're caring for 1, 2, or 3 children, right? And they need that additional income and, to support themselves. So that definition, unfortunately, has expanded greatly, I think, post-COVID.
Yep. Yeah. I see that. So tell us again exactly what somebody might be eligible for.
Mm-hmm. So if they are homeless, right, we do help them with a tuition waiver. So they don't have to pay for tuition at community college. It's automatically free. And every semester after, because they qualified for that one time, they qualify for the duration of their time at MDC. So they will always have free tuition, regardless of their situation or circumstance changes. The other thing is that we provide them with emergency aid. So if they need help to pay additional bills, if they need help to find housing, right? We help them to find housing, get that assistance, and then move them into somewhere if they need help with security deposit. Yeah, security deposit, first month's, last month's rent, whatever. Or if they need entrance into a shelter. We have access to Educate Tomorrow is one of our youth access points. So for any parent who's 24 years of age or under with their children, we can help them get rapid rehousing. We could help them potentially get a Section 8 voucher, which is good for many years. There's many different forms of assistance, as well as emergency shelter and entrance to that.
And you're the one.
Yeah.
They should call you.
Yeah.
So what is it like when a young lady comes in, she's got 1 or 2 kids, they're sitting there in front of you, and you're thinking about what they're going through? Tell me about what's going on in here.
Yeah, honestly, it's a privilege to be able to serve and to really try to, you can't put yourself in that situation because you have no idea what that parent is really going through if you've never actually gone through it. So it's really important to come from always have a trauma-informed approach, always ask questions, always be very open to having the parent guide what it is that they need, guide what it is that they think are the next right steps, and really knowing the right questions to ask. But it's humbling. It's honestly, it's a privilege to be able to be in that space where you can help somebody and you have resources that you can provide them with.
So what was the calling for you to take this job?
For me, honestly, I had other job opportunities that were presented to me, but this one called to me because I knew that this was a space in which I could be of service. And that is something that I've always done in my previous careers, with whether it was Peace Corps or AmeriCorps or, teaching, other programs like that. I've always been in the field of helping others. So this was a no-brainer for me. This was this would be fun.
Okay, and how long you've been with Miami-Dade in this program?
6 years I've been with Miami-Dade, and 3 years I've been with this program.
It's amazing. So tell us about these. Is there a staff with you, or are you what? Tell us about the staff.
So, okay.
On your team.
So my supervisor, she's in charge of health and wellness for the entire college, and has amazing programs that we run for mental health awareness and different types of things, And then I have someone else who we wrote a grant last year to get childcare assistance. So we partner with over about 21 childcare centers throughout the county to help student parents pay for childcare. So she runs that whole program too. So it's a small team of 3, but we're mighty, and we work with everybody, of course, at the college, and our single stop team as well. That's really, really helpful.
So we know that young men and women that are in this situation are under a lot of pressure. I mean, I just can't fathom what that is like. A lot of them need some ongoing support, emotional, maybe some psychological assistance. What can you do to help provide that, get them that service?
Yeah, so Miami-Dade College provides free counseling. So anyone who is a student, you can come in, you can get up to 10 free counseling sessions every year. They're really good. You can do in person, you can do online. And then we also have community partners that we work with that also provide additional free counseling. So if it's free counseling for them, free counseling for their kids. We also have a self-care hub that takes them through like self-care workshops and videos and different techniques that they can do. We have so many different programs at the college that offer like yoga, meditation, and different types of mindfulness activities. So there's a lot that they can do.
So if from October to February, they could have 20 sessions, more or less. Good for them.
Yeah.
By the way, years ago, we were part of the half-cent sales tax allowed local businesses to pay $50 each, and they could get 9 sessions per year for employees. So we had a guy come out. It helped so much.
Yeah.
Just somebody that would listen. Yeah. And so often that's what we just need. Somebody I could tell my problems to put a literal, figurative hand on my shoulder.
That's right.
And say, it must be tough.
And when you're a parent juggling all that stuff and you have kids on top of it, you really just need to vent. You really need somebody who you can just talk to and you feel like understands you. And I would say, and I always recommend counseling to all of our parents.
So we know that historically, I'm sure it's still that way. Well, the mom, it's your baby, you need to take care of it. I'm the absent dad, all right? And so you're stuck, I'll show up occasionally. So I'm sure you hear a lot of that, where's my whoever. But what sort of percentage-wise of counseling do the guys go to out of the total population that go to counseling? Is it what percent?
That's a great question. I would say first off that this generation is different. Millennials and Gen Z are very open to counseling. They honestly, they ask me about it, right? They're like, wow. Do we have it? Do we, is there somebody I could talk to? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Go here, go do this, and the men are very open to it.
Years ago, when we started hearing, I'm going to take a mental health day off, at first it was like, wow. And now it's like, wow, you're having the conversation and you can begin that. We do a show with Robert Asensio and another former policeman called The Silent Struggle. It's specifically about first responders and about mental health care and suicides. And we're so happy that that conversation is out front. Yeah. And we've certainly been part of it to be able to bring it at least neutral. And then when I was much younger, couldn't talk about it. Now, isn't it wonderful that people can say, listen, I got a problem and I need to be able to talk with somebody. So you must hear as you're working, doing the paperwork, not like this, and the people are spilling their guts, and that's an important part of them getting better. Yeah. So for the people that are unsheltered or sheltered not in the traditional way, is that in the Miami-Dade College, is it sort of an open thing? Do they say, I'm part of the student parents? Do they share that with people, or do they keep that quiet?
Do they share that they're in-house?
With their friends or people in the classroom?
Well, I think that everybody is different. I mean, at a personal level, everyone is very different in terms of not only if they're in-house, but how so, right? Because like I mentioned, we have some parents that are sleeping in their cars. We have some that are doubled up or going from house to house. And it's not something that they typically will talk about, especially if they're in their car or if they're at a shelter. But what we try to tell them is that the more information you can provide us with, the more that we can help, right? To help them qualify for services and things like that. So when they do share that information, obviously it's confidential. It's not something that we go off and tell, but it is something I can say, well, because you've shared this information with me, you can qualify for these particular services. Would you like to go for that? And always they're like, yes, let's
So
do
somebody
it.
could be in a shelter, they could be in their car,
Mm-hmm.
they could be staying with some friends, which is obviously a temporary thing, right? And they go in and they say, here's my life, all right? Typically though, on the women that come in, typically what's the average age of their children?
Typically, they have children from ages 0 to 5, so they're in the younger age range, and they typically have 1 to 2 children.
I just can't fathom what that is for coming from a traditional household and then also duplicating that. It was like, wow, Susan, you got to take care of these kids, right? Because the stress on me happened to be a lot because I didn't know quite how to do that. So it must be difficult for a 20-something-year-old mom who's unsheltered, if you were, sheltered differently, trying to move forward, understanding the need for education, yet I got to eat today.
Yeah.
How many of them are hungry when they come in?
Oh, I would say about 45%. I mean, the reality is that the cost for everything, and that includes food, has risen. And so we try to help them as much as possible, providing the emergency aid. We help them with the food stamp applications. We have food pantries at all of our campuses.
I think we have a Mother Teresa sitting here.
No, not even, no. But we always try to make sure their basic needs are met first. I mean, obviously you can't concentrate on school. Nobody's thinking about school if you can't have food to eat. You don't have a roof over your head. Your kids aren't taken care of. As a parent, your kids are always going to be your priority. So we always want to make sure their basic needs are met first, and then get them either enrolled or say, hey, let's, continue on with your classes. And so we do have student parents that are not currently enrolled in classes. Sometimes they come in and they say, I want to enroll at MDC, but I'm homeless, right? I don't have food. I don't have this. I don't have that. And so we help them to meet those needs first, and then we get them enrolled.
So from a factual point, we can do this, and you already know that up front. Chances are you can be able to succeed. So when they hear that from you, you see their start to smile. That must be awfully rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really just getting the information out there. And they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I never knew any of this stuff existed. And it's like, yep. So then from there, they're like, I'm going to save this number. I'm going to call you every day. I'm like, well, let's go. But they're just really grateful to know about it.
So Stephanie, tell me about your background, where you went to school, and tell me about your family life.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Texas, born and raised, and I traveled because I'm a military brat. My stepdad was in the Air Force, so I grew up part of my days in Japan, some of them in Pennsylvania. I ended up back here, graduated from North Miami Senior, and went to Florida State University, where I did my undergraduate in international affairs, and I got a master's in nonprofit management.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Taking care of people.
Yep.
So you've been now 6 years with the college, 3 years in this program.
Yep.
So tell us what this program looks like the next couple of years.
The next couple of years, what we really, really want and what we're planning for is for everyone at the college, all staff, to understand how to holistically support student parents. So providing our staff with trauma-informed training as it specifically relates to student parents, the services that are available through community partners and through the college, because sometimes the college is so big, we don't know about all the new grants and things like that we get. So it's having continuous training for everyone there so that when they come across a student parent, which is 1 in 4, so they will encounter a student parent, they know that here's some things, here's some services that are out there, here's what you can do, right? And how to have those sometimes difficult conversations.
Think about the vision that the past leaders had from Miami-Dade College from the early 60s to what it is now. Campuses all over, every which way you want to take classes, whether it's online or in seminars or certificate classes, or you can get your eye on there, right? And you can become a whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can become that. Really a great pathway for people.
Yep.
And I still remember my number back then, 316-8068. I don't know how I remember that, but it just got burnt into my brain.
Yeah.
So again, my experience in Miami-Dade was tremendous, a lot of caring people.
Yeah.
And they do, and my experience was they do take the time.
Yeah.
And tell me, which campus do you work out of?
So I'm out of Kendall, but we
Okay.
support all campuses.
And I know Dr. Cruz was out there. He's out there now? All right. We've seen him around. And if you see him, tell him we send our regards.
Oh.
One of the things I would like you to do is we have about 30 seconds left. Is there, I'm sure you had a lot of people that influenced you, and perhaps you'd like to thank them by name if you like. If you're not, that's okay. If you just look right into that blue camera there, you got 30 seconds. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to thank all the support that we have at the college. I say thank you to our single stop team. Thank you to our tiny team, my supervisor, Lourdes Perez, my other coworker, Adriana Martinez, everyone with Educate Tomorrow, all of our community partners that do amazing jobs and help us to support our student parents.
Wonderful. As we wrap it up, can we put the phone number back up on the screen? So students want more information, they can call you. The phone number's up there, or they can go to the website for Miami-Dade College. They can put in MDC student parents, and they can find that, and they'll probably wind up with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so what else would you like to discuss? We have about 10 seconds left.
Oh, let's see. We'll be having some upcoming student parent resource fairs. We just had our first one ever at the Wilson campus this past month in March, and we're going to be taking it over to the North Campus in the fall. Wonderful. So we'll be advertising and putting some more stuff up. Maybe we can come back here and say, hey, come
Absolutely. And I want to thank the college for arranging it. It's our pleasure. Our Mikasa Sukasa.
Oh,
Stephanie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you for joining us. Rachelle, thank you for producing the show. And we are proud of Rachelle. She graduated from Miami-Dade a few months ago, 4-year degree in videos and stuff. Great job, folks.